Welcome to the Clique podcast. I'm Danny Watson, a mindset and manifestation expert and founder of the Clique, a company that helps women overcome their fears and limiting beliefs to create a life and business that they love. Within this podcast, I will help you get clear on what you want, identify the blocks that are holding you back, transform your mindset and raise your vibration so that you can co-create magic with the universe. If you are looking to design a life that truly sets your soul on fire and manifest more success and abundance, then you are in the right place. Hello ladies, and welcome to part 4 of manifesting your best life in 2023. So for those of you who haven't tuned into the earlier episodes, I would suggest that you go a couple of episodes back and start with part 1. There's also part 2 and part 3. For today's episode, we're jumping into the final part of the episodes. And what I really want to focus on for this final episode is taking that big inspired action towards your dreams in 2023. So everything that we focused on up until now has really been about turning inwards. So part 1 was all about getting clarity for your life, specifically jumping to the end of 2023 and getting super specific about what you want your life to look like at the end of 2023. We then talked about the beliefs. How are your beliefs when it comes to your desires? Do you believe that it is possible for you? Are there beliefs that are holding you back? So it's really about picking apart, what you actually believe and thinking about, well, how can I start to challenge some of these beliefs in order to discredit them, in order to weaken these beliefs? We then looked at energy, really stepping to the vibration of who you need to be to get you to where you want to go. And then for this episode, it's really about taking that inspired action. And as with all of these episodes, I want them to make them quite short and quite actionable. So the idea is that rather than just listening to me, waffle on for ages, I just want to keep this very short and practical so that you can then go away and go ahead and do the activity, do the task that I set for you, and really start to integrate some of this knowledge that you're absorbing today. So inspired action then. For a little bit of an introduction, this is really all about taking action towards your desires. You taking one step, and then the universe is going to take a step with you. So this is really, where co-creation with the universe really comes into the play. Because you're saying to yourself, I'm not just waiting for life to happen to me. I am willing to show up for myself each day and for my dreams and to make my dreams a reality, rather than just waiting for things to just fall into my lap. Now, of course, miracles can occur and things can sometimes just show up in your life and you feel like you've had nothing to do with it. You've not really done anything. They've just sort of appeared, and that can be a magical and wonderful thing. But we give ourselves the best chance of really creating incredible momentum in our lives when we take a few steps as well. So for this activity then, what I would like you to do is to think about what you're wanting to accomplish for 2023. Take yourself to that final point of 2023 and reconnect with that vision of how you would like your life to look. And then this is a bit of a brainstorming exercise, because what I would like you to do is, first of all, just brain dump all of the possible action steps that you could take that would help to get you there. Now, for this exercise, I really just want you to kind of write with a stream of consciousness without really thinking too much about things. And I think this is where people often get stuck when it comes to the taking action part. They start to overthink things. They start to let their logical brain get too caught up in, this activity. And they start to feel very confused, very overwhelmed, and kind of feeling a bit lost. And an overwhelmed mind often holds themselves back from taking any action at all, okay? Think about it. If you've had a moment in your life when you feel like you've got so much to do and you don't know where to start, you end up procrastinating, okay? And this is often what happens when we allow that logical brain to interfere. We overthink things, and then we kind of get ourselves all confused, all overwhelmed, and then we just don't take any action at all. When you take the mind out of it and you lead with the heart, and this for me is really what taking inspired action is about. When you lead from the heart and your gut rather than your head, you'll often find that taking the action just becomes a lot easier. It becomes fun, it becomes more light, it becomes more joyful. So when you are brain dumping this list of all of the possible things that you could possibly do to get you to where you want to go, don't overthink it. Just go with whatever comes up for you, okay? Just let the words just pour onto the page without thinking, well, I don't know how to do that. Or, I've never done that before, that seems difficult. Or, I'm a bit scared of doing that. It doesn't matter. Because you will tackle that when you get to it, when you get to the actual taking the action part. For now, it's just really opening yourself up to any possible action steps that you could take towards your desires. And then once you've done that, the next activity I would like you to do is to think about all of the possible miracles, coincidences, just magical things that could occur that you perhaps could never have even predicted, that could also support you in getting towards your desires. This is really about, again, recognizing that the action for your desires is not solely on you. This is a process of co-creation. You take one step and the universe will meet you there. Okay, the universe is going to show up to support you by sending you people, opportunities, things, experiences that are designed to help you get to where you want to be. But you have to take that leap of faith as well. You have to walk one step for the universe to walk alongside you. And as you walk, even though you may not know where you are going, the path will become clearer. The universe will help to make that path clearer for you. And as you take that leap towards your dreams, the universe will be there to catch you. It's going to be there to hold your hand every step of the way. But you have to take that step. You have to take that first step. And coming back to what I said earlier about, not necessarily needing to know the how. You just need to know some of the things what you could do without necessarily needing to know how to actually do them or the order in which to do them yet. Because once you start taking one step, the path will become clearer. The universe will give you that clarity. Okay, so coming back, once you've made these two lists of everything that you could do and every way in which the universe may show up to support you as well, I want you to take that first list and think, what can I prioritize for myself today? Or maybe even just this week. Between now and the end of this year, what can I prioritize, which would just help set the wheels in motion towards my desires? And it could just be the tiniest little action step. Sometimes we think of action steps as being these big giant leaps, these big giant projects. But what I would encourage you to do is try and break down every action step that you've written down on that page into tiny little steps. Okay, so maybe one of your desires for 2023 is to have a certain income goal. Okay, maybe you're envisioning seeing a certain amount of money in your bank account. And one of the things that you've written down on your action steps is, to start a business that, will allow you to create additional income. Well, that's obviously a very big action step. And within that action step are lots and lots of different action steps required. So what I would like you to do is start to break down some of the bigger action steps into tiny little action steps that you can just do today. Okay? And it might feel like something very, very small. So let's take the example of starting a business. Maybe to begin with, it's literally just, registering, or not even registering, deciding on a business name. Or maybe it's deciding on what business you're going to be building. Or maybe you've decided, okay, I want to be a coach. It's maybe thinking about what would I like to coach in. Or maybe it's investing in, your coach training. just taking that one step, okay? And as you take that one step, the path in front of you will become clearer and clearer and clearer. Okay, even just one step. And what you are doing by just taking one tiny action step towards your desires is you are getting into the energy of progress and momentum. And remember, whatever energy that we are projecting, we are creating more of that in our lives around us. So when you step into the energy of progress and momentum, the better it gets, the better it gets. It's that snowball effect. And it might feel like things are going slow to begin with, but the more action steps that you take, the more that snowball, escalates. It goes quicker and quicker. And before you know it, your life will start to unfold for you in the most wonderful of ways. And it will feel like sometimes like it's an overnight thing, because towards the end, as the snowball picks up that momentum and the better it gets, honestly, it will just feel so, so magical. And it starts with just taking that one tiny step. Now, I just want to remind you that we're talking here about inspired action that feels good. However, I don't want you to confuse this with action that just feels comfortable. This is one of the biggest mistakes I often see with, my students, with clients, where they get stuck in this idea that for us to be taking action, it has to feel super joyful, super great, really fun all of the time. That's what inspired action is all about. And anything that feels a little bit scary, it's so easy to say, this isn't in alignment for me. It's not inspired action, therefore I am not going to do it. However, the action steps that are done outside of your comfort zone give you the biggest opportunities for growth. And whilst they may not feel aligned or inspired right now, once you do them and master them, they could be the things that help you tap into your highest version of you. They could become the most inspired things you do for yourself. So for me, creating content, videos, podcasts, these things for me at the beginning of my journey certainly did not feel inspired action, because I was so scared of putting myself out there, of sharing my story. It felt so uncomfortable. And it would have been so easy for me to just sit back and say, that's not aligned for me right now. That doesn't feel inspired. Therefore, I am not going to do it. And I would have denied myself so much if I had never stepped up to do those things. So before you judge an action on, whether or not it's inspired, you have to actually get involved with it first. Okay? Only until you've really given it a go and you're not acting from a place of fear, okay? When you make a decision on whether or not to do something, that decision isn't driven by fear, okay? Once you've taken fear out of the equation, you've got out of your comfort zone and you've done the things that you are perhaps a little bit uncomfortable to do, then you can make a decision on whether or not this feels inspired or aligned for you. And I promise you, a lot of those things that you perhaps felt initially weren't inspired action for you may become the most inspiring things for you to do in your day. For me, inspired action, what it's really about is about, are you working in a way that is really protecting your feminine energy? Uninspired action for me is when we keep pushing and we keep doing and we keep forcing things, even though we're exhausted, even though we're tired, even though our body is telling us no. We keep showing up because we feel or we believe that we have to work hard in order to get there. We have to keep doing in order to get there. That for me is uninspired action. Inspired action is trusting that you're going to show up and do the things that, you're feeling called to do, that are going to help you get to where you want to be. But when you've done those things, you then sit back and trust that what you have done is enough. Okay? And then it's handing things over to the universe, trusting and surrendering that you have taken your step. It's now time for the universe to step in and take its step as well. Okay, it's recognizing that we are human beings, not human doings. We don't have to be constantly doing in order to get to where we want to be. So inspired action is really respecting that balance of showing up for yourself, but not to the point where you just burn yourself out completely. Okay, so bear that in mind as well when you are doing this exercise. So just to quickly recap then, you're going to do a brain dump of everything that you can do that will move you towards your desires. You're also going to do a brain dump thinking about all of the amazing ways the universe could also step in to support you. What coincidences could be sent your way, little miracles. And then you're going to come back to that first list and think, okay, if I could break down some of these action pieces that I've written down, what is one tiny step that I could take today? And then just go out and do it. Don't overthink things. Just start. Start and the path will become clearer. And as you start, remember what I said. You have to trust that what you're doing is enough. Trust that with every step that you take, no matter how small, it is enough. Okay? You are enough. You are enough for your desires. Now, I'd just like to take this moment because this will be the final time that I chat with you in 2022. I cannot wait to step into the new year with you. I've got so many exciting things lined up, not only for this podcast, but also in terms of the Clique as a business, in terms of what we are producing behind the scenes and creating for you guys. Lots of amazing things for you to be involved with for 2023. So I'm so excited to share some of those things with you in the new year. Have a wonderful, wonderful close of your 2022 and a wonderful start to the new year in 2023. And I will catch you on the next episode. Lots of love, ladies. If you are wanting to build your own successful online coaching business, make sure to check out Freedom, Abundance and Impact, our free 10-day business and mindset course for coaches and aspiring coaches. To access, simply head to wearetheclique.com and click free course in the menu.